under that set of circumstances are not an option. Because permitting other people's so-called free will to destroy the planet, whether wittingly or unwittingly, is lunacy. If for no other reason than that I also live on this planet, and you do, and many other innocents. So what I'm saying is that I also have free will, and I object to that. My free will trumps their free will. That's a judgment I've made. That's a value judgment I've made. I further insist on my right to object, being superior to their right, their perceived right, to destroy the planet and the living creatures on it. I further insist on my right to act nonviolently and creatively, to inject a modicum of sanity into what is otherwise an insane downward spiral to mutual annihilation. That is what grown-ups do. We do not have the luxury of a lot of time, frankly. Many millions of people are going to get a shock conversion, a shock, S-H-O-C-K, shock conversion anyway, as the universe is swiftly going to be kicking an awful lot of them to the curb. So my perspective is that it's much better for them. It's actually a kindness to them that their shock conversion should come from a fellow member of the human species who is engaging in an act of creative nonviolence. It's far preferable that a great many millions of these sleepwalkers be awakened, if possible, by their fellow human beings, preferably fellow human beings who are personally known to them. So creative nonviolence is that tool that you would use to creatively awaken these, Lord knows, billions of functionally fast asleep alleged human beings who are sharing this planet with us. And I would go further and say that my feeling is that it's a mark of deep respect for others to care enough to communicate to them, if only by implication, that there is every expectation that they also have a responsibility to behave as adults and to face the reality that they, after all, have also helped create and are complicit in. When you examine that soberly, you can see, if you're honest, that to do otherwise is to be effectively condescending to them, to regard them as inferior or somehow lesser, as not able or worthy to also assist in a mutual planetary rescue effort. We're going to need everyone, as many people as we can muster. So it's much better to regard these other humans as equals, who are equally, therefore, equally obliged to address the dire crises that we all face. In that sense, I have little comprehension of the rampant, feigned ignorance that we see on every hand. It's true that many people do appear to be little more than pre-programmed biological robots on culturally conditioned autopilot. but we have reached a point where that is simply not good enough. It's time to wake up. I'm like a big alarm clock, as if melting down nuclear reactors in Japan were not enough of an alarm clock. If even one person is listening to this audio cast, or 1,000 people, or 10,000 people, for whatever reason, were in any doubt that it was time to wake up, well, I'm here to remove all doubt. It's time to wake up.
Richard, I just want to say I very much respect your clear discernment abilities and your courageous conclusions. I do not disagree whatsoever with what you're saying. I also get a very clear idea of what you envision if we don't do things. But I want to pose this final question to you. Do you feel it's important that we hold compassion and understanding for those people that just can't do it, just can't go down the rabbit hole, and they may be under such manipulation by the machine that they can't possibly come out of it? But the question I have is, do you feel it's part of our really loving responsibility that we carry for and towards others, that we have some compassion for them while still going after your very clear call for action? That we hold this compassion itself, because it's perhaps one of the deepest soulful qualities of being human. And I wonder if that in itself could be another way of contradicting or resisting the machine.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And compassion is important. However, so often compassion manifests as pity. And at root, pity is condescending.
Absolutely.
I don't mean to condescend on anyone. At root, the greatest compassion you can have for someone else's suffering is to enable them to resolve their suffering. And we are in a situation now where the only way we can resolve our suffering is to change our ways dramatically. And for that, we need everyone. And sometimes the most compassionate thing you can do, even as a parent, for a child, is to show tough love.
Mm-hmm.
There is a time and a place for tough love. And the person, the tough lovey, if you will often be want to say, well, if you really loved me, you wouldn't do that. If you really loved me, you wouldn't say that to me. Well, in fact, if you really did love that person, you would say something like, you know what? If you don't wake the you-know-what up, if you don't stand up and snap out of it, you're going to be glowing in the dark, and your children. And that's the good part of it. That's just the good part of it. The bad part of it is the rest of the planet is going to die, and it'll be the end of humanity, and it'll be the end of the biosphere on planet Earth. So I'm sorry. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Stop pretending like you don't know what's going on. Stop pretending like it certainly doesn't have anything to do with you, like you're not involved, like it's not your place to do anything about it. We've arrived at the point where all of this needs to be said, and those who don't want to hear it are going to have to hear it, because the alternative is far too grim. You know, we've reached that fork in the road that the Hopis have been talking about for centuries, including in the 20th century and now in the 21st century, where we really do have to choose. Are we going left or right? If we continue down the path that we've been on for thousands of years now, it doesn't end well. It does not end well, and the Hopis have been very clear about that. If, on the other hand, we turn the other way and go down another road characterized by nonviolence, peace, no warfare, not exploiting each other, honesty, fairness, harmony, cooperation, then our future is much brighter. Dare we say it, even prosperous, carefree, loving, joyful, jubilant. However, if we don't do that, then there will be suffering and plenty of it. There will be gloom and doom and an awful lot of it. The Hopi have been clear about that. That is a frank analysis of our situation, a frank prediction of what will happen according to what we do or do not do. I can't say any more clearly what I have to say. I can't do any more openly than what I have done. The Hopi could not possibly say any more clearly what they have to say than they have already done. So there it is. What remains to be seen is what we individually and collectively do. The choice is stark. It's clear. There's really not any in-between here. Either we kill the plant or we rescue the plant. Either we, commit mutual radioactive hara-kiri, among other things, or we don't. So I've cast my vote. I went again and again and again over the fence onto the nuclear missile silos in the United States, and I've done other things, and I've written many statements over the years, issued many public statements. So there's no question as to where Richard Sauder stands, what he's done, what he advocates. That's no longer in question. I have cast my vote resoundingly for one and all to see, to observe, and to draw whatever lesson, object lesson that you may care from it. What remains to be seen now is what others will do, and I leave it to others. The most compassionate thing I can do at this point is to say, look, I give you an example of my thinking, my philosophy, what I have done, what I have said. Do with it what you will.
That is absolutely amazing. Thank you. And I sincerely hope that we have provided you with an opportunity to be heard by many people.
Thank you, Uranus.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you for your time tonight, Dr. Sauder. Hope you enjoyed it as we did. If not, bad luck, mate. The 18th century writer Johann Wolfgang von Goethe said, "A creation of importance can only be produced when its author isolates himself. It is a child of solitude. Unfortunately, it seems a necessity of universe that people of great importance must walk a solitary path. It seems that only from this isolation can great ideas be discovered. Though the road seems lonely at times, Richard, it only seems that way, as your work has influenced many to walk down the right path behind you. On behalf of Fox and all the members of the WebBot Forum, we thank you, sir. In our tradition, may you and your family have many pies to come."
Thank you, Jules. Thank you. Thank you. I want to thank all of you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Richard.
Likewise. I appreciate your time. I know that you invested fully as much time in this interview as I did, not only recording it, but also preparing for it. And I'm grateful for your time, your thoughts. I would reiterate, these are very good questions, and I think the quality of your interview, I actually think you guys are the new generation. You're the new cutting edge.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Dr. Sauder.
Thank you and good night.
Okay.